Hello, guys, and welcome to another episode of Cocoa in the Sun podcast. Today, I have a guest I'm so grateful for. I have
Okay.
Mr. Abueng, who's going to talk to us more about what she does and how she came about doing it. So say hello to Abueng.
Hello, and it's nice to be here. Nice to see you, and I'm looking forward to our chat.
Yes, me too, Abueng. So my first question is, what do you do and how did you come about doing this?
Yeah, so I do energy work. I'm an energy work practitioner, which is very general. I've been trying to think of a better term for what I do, but I guess that's it. I do energy. But so how did I start? I started off back in, oh, how long has that been now? I think when I first moved back to Canada in my 30s, I was, just wandering around in bookshops or hearing conversations, but the word Reiki
Yes.
kept coming up. And actually, from before I moved back, when I was still in Japan, a friend mentioned Reiki to me. I was like, oh, okay. And then I heard it somewhere else. And then the last straw, so to say, was when I was in a bookshop here in where I live in Ajax. And I just picked up a book and just opened it. I just, it was like a spirituality book. And I just kind of let the pages fall open and it fell open to the Reiki section. So I was like, okay, message received. So I went and signed up for Reiki 1. And that was my intention. I just wanted to see what it was. I just wanted to get the level 1. And I was like, oh, I could do myself or maybe do my cats. But after level 1, I did level 2, I did level 3. So, yeah, so that's how I started doing energy work. But yeah, for like several years before that, I think I started my spirituality journey. That would have been back in 2009. I read a book called, um, oh, The Infinite, In Tune with the Infinite, sorry. And that just, by Ralph Waldo Trine, and that just really opened my mind to, yeah, because before that, I was complete left brain. Logic, intuition isn't anything, gut instinct isn't anything, placebo effect, like all of that is nothing. So it's been quite the change from total left brain. I did computer science in university over to where I am now. So that's kind of a general overview.
Well, that's good. And it's a nice metamorphosis, right? So that means too you'll be able to understand people that are more logically aligned and that journey to intuition.
Yeah, and
Yes.
that's one of the things I like. I like being able to explain it. So, yeah, it's been a journey because there's a lot of trust that
Yes.
has to come up, right? But not even just trusting the universe and how I now understand that it works, but just trusting yourself because that was the biggest one because I realized as I was going through and learning more about, your thoughts create your reality, as within, so without. I realized how opposite that I had been by default without thinking it, just just without thinking about it. Sorry, just by absorbing the beliefs of the people, family, society, right? And I realized too just how externally focused I was for everything. If it was written in a textbook, it was, then that was real, that was true. Textbook, newspaper, if an expert said it, if a right? And then now I've come away from that. And of course, not to say that there's no value to be gained from reading books or listening to other people. When you listen to other people, you get their perspective. Like none of us hold the entire perspective. This is an infinite universe. Like none of us can understand all of source just by ourselves. We're all looking at it from different perspectives. And I always like to think of the statue of David that's in Florence, Italy. You know that sculpture.
Mhm.
I was fortunate enough to see it, but you walk all around it, and the people standing on one side are not seeing the same view as the people standing on
On
the
the
other
other
side, right? No one, you can't see the whole statue standing anywhere, right?
side.
So just like that simple comparison is how the universe is, how source is. We're all just, right? So of course, if you listening to other people, reading books, um,
You're getting other
you
perspectives, but you need your own
yeah,
perspective too.
yes, you get the other perspective and then you kind of filter it, not filter it, but kind of use your discernment. And for me, like discernment is your tuning fork. Is like, okay, how is this sitting? Is this a
Mm.
truth that works for me? Is this not a truth that works for me? Because one of the earliest spiritual, pretty much the first spirituality teacher I started uh, listening to and reading books and watching YouTube videos was Abraham Hicks, I guess.
Me
Like a lot of
too,
people,
Esther!
yeah, they
Oh
were like the first
my God!
ones, right?
Yeah.
And that's one thing Abraham's always saying. They're saying, okay, it's not a question of is it true or not? Like everything is true. It's like, do you want that truth to apply to your reality? That is what you're deciding. And before that, I had been very much like an absolute kind of, okay, this is the truth. So then everything else is not true. Everything else is false, wrong, a lie, right? That kind of like either or. And now I'm just very comfortable. It's like, oh, okay, they believe that. No, I don't believe that.
But doesn't mean
And
it's
then
not,
it's fine.
it's just not for me. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't feel any consternation or anxiety or trying to convince them. You know what
Oh,
I mean? I used to feel a lot of that before. We're like, well, why don't they see? It's like, okay, I try to explain it this way or that way. Yeah, there was a lot of that. But yeah, now I'm just really comfortable with, oh, okay, they believe that. I don't, and I actually don't see it in my reality, but they're seeing it every day in their reality.
yeah.
So it is true for them. But yeah, but just coming at spirituality, like wanting to have like a more kind of understanding of how it works,
Mm.
like why as within, so without, right? Like just the energy of it, and then just coming to see how everything is physics and just see, and then that helps everything makes sense. People's people's decisions or reactions used to confuse me sometimes before. It's like, why would they do that? But when
Yeah.
you look at it from when you look at it from an energy perspective, you can see it's like, well, of course they were going to do that because this happened before and they had this before. Like everything is energy. The emotion is everything makes sense. Everything flows. Like the same way that if you know like which way how a tree might bend or how the branches might stretch based on the wind in that location, where the sun is in that location, right? Then they can look and they'll have an idea. They won't be able to pinpoint it exactly, but
Yeah.
they'll have an idea that maybe the tree is going to go a little bit more this way because there's like some big rock formation over here that's
Yeah.
blocking the sun, so it's going to go right.
Yeah.
When you know those variables, then things that are that seemed mysterious before aren't mysterious. Just like the weather now. Again, they're not perfect at the forecasts, right? And they say the 7 day forecast is right 13% of the time. So we're still guessing, not guessing, but it's educated guesses. But no one, the hurricanes don't come out of the blue
No.
anymore. You can see they have the instruments, they can see them building up, they can see how strong they're going to be. Whereas,
And
go
most
back a
likely,
few
yeah.
thousand years and it was, a deity is angry, trying to make sense as, oh, it must have been because we didn't do this properly, right? And they were trying to make sense of it. But now, as you start to just fill in and get more information with weather patterns and what's going on in the atmosphere and the ocean, then you can see it. So it's just incorporating more and more data. So, but yeah.
Well, it's funny you said hurricanes because I live in Miami. That's like
Yeah.
every year a concern. So yeah, they kind of can predict where they're gonna go, but they do turn last minute
Hmm.
sometimes and be surprised.
Yeah. No, even
But
now with
yeah,
the science they have now, it's not exact, but
yeah,
but it's
yeah, you
not
can
like
prepare. You can
in 5 seconds there's a hurricane coming and it came out, that's not
yeah.
happening. Yeah.
And but yeah, also funny that you mentioned trust because just like a few episodes ago, I was saying, I'm now learning my trust. I'm now in that process and how that works. And so I was saying for me, trusting is easier than surrendering. Like I can say I trust easier than I can say I surrender. So I was like trying to see what fits for me, what wording fits for me to allow me to open up in that way, to allow what has to flow. And so it's just weird that you said like it's a lot of it is trust because that's where I'm trying to work on. Um, oh yes. So you were saying everything is energy and is light. Light is energy, right? Because like I
Mhm.
had a dream once and it just basically showed me like different shapes of light coming together in order to form something that's solid. But it was like many different layers and layers of lights and different shapes and over again before they could actually form like the actual physical
Mhm.
the physical object that they were trying, which I never thought of. Like it was just so cool to see in a dream.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's true, but it was in a dream. Okay, so how did you so you are energy practitioner, and healer, right? You heal with energy. Is that right? Or okay.
Mhm.
How did you know? I
Yeah.
know you took the classes and you found the book, but how did you learn that you had that gift? Because I don't, can everybody do that? I'm not sure if everybody has that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you think so?
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, everyone can do it. And what one can do, all can do, right? It's not some special skill that few people can do. I think where we differ as humans is that it's like all of us, our brains, when before we come into these human bodies, before we have this physical experience, we are non-physical beings, eternal beings, infinite beings. And it's like there's a giant switchboard and everything's turned on,
Hmm.
right? But when we're coming into this specific physical experience where I'm going to be one human called Abueng, you can't come in with all of that. So, yeah, maybe some things get turned off
Okay.
or turned down, right? And some people maybe they'll have a switch on coming in. And then those are the people who just kind of have a natural ability for something. They have a talent for basketball. They have a talent for, they've got great balance, great aim, whatever it is. But we can all learn it and learn, like, develop and turn the switch on if there is something we want to do. But something like Reiki is
Mhm.
something that everyone can do if
Oh,
they want.
that's good to know.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
energy that we all have access to, like where the human collective consciousness is, the frequency range from like our highest frequency to the lowest frequency, because it's a range, it's a spectrum.
Yeah.
Reiki is in there like solidly that we can all
Okay.
easily reach it. There are maybe like some other energy frequencies that are maybe like more at the top end or just kind of a little bit in
Mhm.
the human collective consciousness frequency range. But yeah, Reiki is definitely something we can all do. And lots of people take it just out of curiosity or just to do sessions for themselves or family members.
Mhm. Yeah, that's really cool. And then what daily practices would you recommend or do you do or there's something we could all do?
Yeah, well, for me, the number one daily practice is meditation, right? Meditation just does so many, it does so many things. It reveals so many things. going back to being internally focused as opposed to externally focused. Meditation does that. You're not listening to somebody, you're not watching Netflix, you're not, right? It's just all quiet and just feeling the texture of your own being. And the big one for me is like seeing your thoughts and just seeing how your thoughts aren't you and your thoughts aren't true, which sounds really simple, but that's something a lot of people will struggle with, right? If you think about someone to have a thought that, oh, that person doesn't like me, that changes how you interact with that person. If
Yes.
they like maybe, right? And it's a thought. The person didn't say, I don't like you, but maybe they snapped at you once, and then them snapping at you is because of their life experience they're having, right? Not necessarily they were maybe just mad that day. But if you start thinking, I they don't like me now, maybe you're not going to certain events they're going to, maybe right? Because we give so much weight
The external.
to our thoughts, yeah. And this creates distortions that kind of skew everything. But when a thought pops up now of that person doesn't like me, I'll be like, okay, part of me thinks that. I don't know if it's true. Maybe they do, maybe they don't, but I'm not holding on to that thought and like pinning it in my energy field and then making decisions
Off
around
it.
that. Right.
Right.
So, but
Okay.
when you meditate, you just start to see how thoughts come up and then you just let them go. Like it's just, they're just passing. It's the best analogy which people often use is like it's like clouds, they're just passing through your mind unless you decide to make one thought true and make it heavier than all the others and assign all these meanings to it and then build up a whole belief system around it and make decisions off of it, right? But all thoughts are just, they're not you. And then when you start to see how thoughts are just passing through, then you'll start to feel okay, passing through what? If I'm watching the thoughts, like who's right,
Yeah.
who who's the thinker or who's the observer, right? And so that's the biggest thing for meditation. But I tell people because people will be like, "Oh, I tried meditating and I couldn't, and it was really hard." And I'll be like, "Okay, well, how long were you trying to do it for?" And they're like, "Oh, 20 minutes." I was like, "Okay, well, you can't I mean, you can. Everything's a valid option, but you're making it far more difficult for yourself if you're going from I've never meditated to I'm going to sit for 20 minutes and meditate. That's a really big, unnecessary, I think, jump. So I tell people to start with 3 minutes. Why not? 3 minutes of stillness,
I
3 minutes
like to
of
take quiet time. Yeah.
yeah, just 3 minutes, then bump it up to 7 minutes. So like I'll do on my Instagram, I'll do 7 minute meditations, where I just, I'll pick different topics that we'll focus on, like, love or compassion or unity consciousness. And then I have a bell that goes at 3 minutes for the people who only want to do 3 minutes, and then we go on and we do 7 minutes. But start with that,
Yeah.
right? And then once that feels, you know, and
Comfortable.
you
Yeah.
comfortable, then it's like, all right, well, can I do 11 minutes? Oh,
Yes.
okay. Can I do 15? And then the people, one thing I hear from the 7 minute meditations that I do, that people watch will be like, well, the 7 minutes went by really fast. It was really easy, but it takes that kind of fear factor out
Yeah.
of it, where people are picturing,
And they make
someone like
it like,
sitting in lotus position on a mountain for an
yeah.
hour. And it's like, no, we're not, that's not, that's lovely. If you want to do that, that's lovely, but you don't have to go from 0 to 100, right? You build up. And then if you want to stay at just you meditate 7 minutes, okay. Or maybe you want to do that twice a day, okay. You want to bump up to 15 minutes. Or going back to Abraham Hicks, they always say 15 minutes
Mhm.
is plenty. They think they don't even say, oh, like an hour. They're like, yeah, if you're doing it, okay, but it's not doing anything extra. But for me, I'll do multiple meditations,
Throughout the day.
15 minutes or 9 minutes or 18 minutes. I have like different meditations that I do where I just focus on different things, whether it's just a stillness meditation where I'm just being still and not thinking and just feeling my being, feeling the energy. Or I do like a love meditation or a meditation where I focus on grace or meditation, right? So I'll do different ones. I do multiple, but I really like meditation. So for someone else, maybe they want to just do one 7 or 15 minute meditation, and then maybe they want to do yoga. What one of my friends, she's a yoga teacher. So she wants to do yoga every day and she meditates sometimes, where I'm like yoga once a week and I meditate more, right? But that's just how we're
Yeah.
different. So you
Yeah.
find the thing that
Works for you.
works for you. But in general, I would say if I was going to recommend one thing for everyone to do, it would be like meditation, some type of meditation. Even if you want to do a walking meditation, eyes closed, open, no thoughts, or pick a theme, or pick a topic to focus on, ask a question and listen for the answer. There's so many things, focus on your breath, focus on a flame, you know focusing on your breath. If you want to focus on something, that's the best one. uh Focusing on something like a candle flame, that's nice, but maybe you might want to meditate somewhere where and you don't have a candle, right? Whereas if you focus on your breath, that's an easy one that you don't have to worry about setting something up, or right. So if you want to move from focusing on something to then just focusing within,
Mhm.
but there's so many different types of meditation. So just pick the one that works for you. Start with a length of time that feels super doable. Start there. If 10 makes you go, ooh, well then do 5 or do
Yeah.
2. Like just pick a number that's like, oh yeah, I could do that. And then build up from there.
Yes, that's good.
Yeah. And then, well, how about you?
So um I don't like to have tasks. So
Hmm.
I like quiet time. So I don't say meditation anymore because I don't like to listen to other people's visuals and stuff like that. But I like to be quiet or still, like you said. So I like to look at the sunset. So I look at the sunset every evening. I don't put a time limit on it, just as long as I enjoy it and it's quiet. Like no TV, no like phone. No, I don't even do music or whatever. I might put on like the infuser, like for like a nice little scent. And now I'm finding that the breath is coming in naturally for me, that I'm just enjoying breathing and taking that time and breathing slowly and tasting the air, just enjoying the whole thing. And then,
Hmm.
so that has been expanding more like time wise. Like at first it was like you were saying, I couldn't do 5 minutes. Like 5 minutes would have been
Hmm.
difficult even for me. I would just do it until it felt like I didn't want to do it anymore. And now that's expanding.
Right.
And I can just sit in the stillness for 45 minutes and just enjoy the beauty of the sky. And so what you were saying about the thoughts, right? So I could tell like when my thoughts are running, like all these different things are coming through, right? In the beginning, and
Hmm.
it kind of slows and it's very mellow, maybe not too much thought. But then I get like ideas or understandings of things that I didn't have before. So I was going to ask you, like, how do you differentiate what's your mind running thoughts that you just need to watch go by? But then some of them are like stuff and solutions and ideas for your life that's just coming in that quiet time. But not all the time, not all the time. Like just sometimes, yeah.
Yes, but that's it exactly. That's another big thing with meditation. When you start being still, then you can start hearing other layers of yourself, other levels of yourself,
Oh,
right? Ideas come through. But if you're constantly like, oh, what should I do? Oh, let's watch this, watch that, blah, 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 blah. And what they refer to as the monkey mind, when
yeah.
that's going all the time, you're not hearing the other stuff. So when you can learn to just kind of just still that, the monkey mind, or just the conscious mind, the one that wants to tick through your checklist, and oh, did I turn the oven off, and oh, I think tomorrow I'm gonna get Harvey's, or or I don't Harvey's is a
Canadian.
fast food
Uh,
hamburger thing we have up here. I don't know if you guys have it. But like that thing that's always like planning what to do. It's very action oriented. It's very externally oriented. Or, oh, she said that to me. Is that what she meant? What did she mean when she said that? I didn't like her. All of that stuff. But when you still that, when you start separating and having stillness, it's like I think of it as a pond. The waters of the pond go still,
uh-huh.
and then it's easier to see through,
Oh, okay.
right, to deeper levels, or to the bottom. Whereas if the top of the pond has like leaves are blowing, the wind's blowing, and people are throwing rocks in it, well, you're not really seeing straight through, right, to the bottom. But when you're still, then you start getting those other ideas, the inspiration, the ideas. And then you're asking, how do you tell the difference?
Yeah.
For me, the way I tell the difference, because this is a big part of my work when I'm doing like an energy session for someone, and then I get an idea that's like for them. I get an impression or
Mhm.
or a message, or something that can help them. That was one of my big things in the beginning, is, oh, okay, am I making this up? Is that my imagination, or is this something else? But that's one of the big things that you struggle with what I used to believe thinking was, which is I used to believe thoughts were like our brain is generating thoughts, and that's not how I understand thoughts to be at all. Thoughts are their own things, they are their own constructs, and our brains are radios. We're picking up thoughts, but the thought exists. Our brain isn't creating a thought. We'll receive a thought and we'll filter it through our unique perspective and our unique expression,
Mhm.
right? And then, like a good analogy for this, they'll tell people is like, well, look at a song like Unchained Melodies,
Okay.
right?
Mhm.
Or Hallelujah. How many versions of those songs are there? It's the same words, it's the same melody, but look how many versions of the song there are
Mhm.
based on the writer. Maybe it's just one person singing, maybe it's a whole choir, maybe it's a band, maybe it's one instrument, and they're all the same words
Mhm.
and so many different versions of the song. So that song exists, but the number of ways a thought can be expressed or understood,
Mhm.
that's where we bring in our own unique expressions, right? Or looking at a basketball game, for example. There's never going to be a basketball game that's going to be exactly the same as a game before. Even if it's all the same players, right? Even if it's all the same rotation, even
Same
if the
for
coaches agree to put everybody in at the same time, it's never going to happen. But so basketball exists, but the all the different expressions of it, there's never going to be
the
two
repeat
identical
exactly.
games.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. The same way there's so many different versions of the song Hallelujah or Unchained Melodies. There's so many different versions of one song, right? That song exists and it's getting expressed through different perspectives, different filters, and um that's us. But when coming back around to your question of how do you know when it's like an idea for your life or inspiration, or when it's just like a regular thought, let's say,
Yeah.
or like a conscious mind thought, let's make that distinction. For me, those other thoughts that are inspirational or ideas or messages from your guides, they come in and you just know the whole thought all at once. The
Okay.
whole thing comes in. Whereas when it's my conscious mind thinking, it's more sequential.
Okay.
Like, see,
That
like
makes
like you see this part like that, right? When it's an inspirational thought or messages from guides, then you just get the whole idea, and I see everything all at once. And then it maybe takes me time to say it out loud to the person, but I'll understand it all at once. And there was no like thinking,
Involved.
sequential thinking happening.
Oh,
So that's the
hard
distinction
work.
for me
It's just
when
a
the whole thing comes in.
hmm Okay.
Yeah.
Good. And that's like intuition, right? Like,
Yes.
yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I like
Yeah,
that.
and then the thing with intuition, going back, we come right back around to trust, right? Trust is a big one. But again, because intuition, you're not going to get a whole explanation for why. You might just have idea of, oh, turn right here, don't go straight, I'll turn right, right? And it's not even going to be in words, and it depends because everybody's
Different.
different, like
Yeah.
what you're, if you think about, clear audience, clairvoyance, clear, if you want to go into the clairs, people are maybe more open with certain ways of knowing. So some people, when they tune in, maybe they'll visually see something, right? Some people will just know it. Some people will just have a feeling in their body, I should turn right here,
Yeah.
right? They'll just feel it, not words. And then some people, maybe they were hear the word saying turn right, um, but no explanation as to why.
No.
And now, like, I just trust that. Whereas before, I started off like, okay, I'd be like, oh, it's I was gonna go straight, but I'm getting the feeling to turn right here. Well, you know what? I'm gonna go straight anyway and see. And every single time there's a problem that turns like a 5 minute journey into a 15-minute journey,
Yeah.
or there's a car that's blocking a lane or whatever, right? So now, like, I moved past that point, whereas at the beginning when I was learning to trust my intuition, I was deliberately doing the opposite to see what the issue what
Trial
the
and
issue
error.
was. Exactly. I would do the opposite because I wanted to see why. I wanted well, basically I was looking for proof. I was looking for evidence, right? But now I'm like, I'm done with that. I was like, no, I don't need to see what the
Trusted. Yeah,
excuse.
it's gonna be
Like
good.
after this one time, the last time I was like, oh, well, I don't want to turn right here. It was during a snowstorm. I got the feeling to turn right, and then my logical brain came in and was like, well, no, I should keep going straight, and the main road will be clearer because it was a really bad snowstorm that came in, uh, and it was a lot of snow on the roads, and you couldn't stop.
Mhm.
Uh, uh, it took several feet to stop, no matter how slow you were going. Right? I'm
Yeah.
up in Toronto, in Canada, so we have snow. But so I was like, oh no, it'd be better to stay on the main road, and there's more lighting. And I was like, so my logical brain was like, no, stay on the main road. That's better. When my intuition was telling me just turn and go right. And so I ignored it and I went straight. And it was maybe 45 seconds later, someone rear-ended me. And I was like, okay, I'm done. I don't need, I'm done. I
No.
don't need, oh, it was just a fender bender and both cars worked and we could still go.
Right.
We just had to get some repair work done. So nothing major, but I was like, okay. But I had like such a clear feeling of no, turn right here. But my logical brain came in of like, no, those words are going to be even worse. That's a residential street. They haven't cleared that yet,
Yeah.
and nope. Should it? And I was like, yep, I'm done. Now it's like, okay, want me to turn here? Yeah. So, and then sometimes, usually I see
Right away.
why I got the intuition, but now sometimes I don't. And
You
I'm
just trust it.
totally okay with that.
It'll make
Yeah.
sense
Whereas
later down the road. Yeah.
yeah, right. And then it's gone to another level where I'm not even avoiding like traffic jams or anything, but it's more like for me, like I want to be moving in flow. So I don't want to be stopped in the right lane at a red light and the person behind me wants to turn right, for example. Because here in my province, we can turn right on a red light if no one's coming,
Mhm.
right? So I don't want to be blocking someone who wants to turn right when I'm going straight. So now maybe I'll be driving, I'll just get the sense, oh, move into the left lane, right? And then when I move over, the next person who comes up, they wanted to turn right,
Oh,
right? So because now that's built in where I don't want to be blocking someone who wants to turn right while we sit there for 60 seconds at a red. So
yeah.
that's like built in, and then that becomes part
Even
of
little
it.
things. Yeah.
Yeah, but your intuition is going off of like what you want, right? It's not
I'm gonna
just.
say that it's always the best for you, the intuition.
Yeah,
It's never
it's
the place
always in your
God.
best
Yeah.
interest. Yeah, even when in the short term, or
It's
in a
bad.
narrow perspective, it looks like, oh, this was awful. In big picture, it was good. Like maybe me, my intuition was like, okay, we've got to get her. That's like, we need to end this whole, let's see what the problem would have been if I ignored the intuition. So let's have, and maybe I get into minor fender bender and I stopped doing that. Maybe if I hadn't done that, it would have been like
Big. Yeah.
a bigger problem,
Yeah.
right? So even that, and now I have a funny story to tell, and it's just very clear in me. Anytime if I have an intuition to do something and my logical brain starts coming out, I'll be like, no. Remember that time in the snowstorm where I talked myself into getting rear-ended? It's like, no. So, right? So now I have that. So even that was in
Best.
my best
Yeah.
interest. Yeah, looking back, right? But like another spirituality teacher says, Bashar, uh, he's always saying, the human mind does not see what happened, like what's going to happen. The human mind just sees what happened. We look backwards, right? And then we're often, and this is what I used to do a lot as well, and everyone's doing it, trying to make predictions, forecasts or predictions for next year, whether
Yeah.
it's in the financial markets or
Yeah.
population growth, right? It's
Yeah.
all looking backwards. What happened for the past 5 years? Oh, okay, maybe make a few
It's what happened.
adjustments and
I like
then
that.
throw that into the future. Right?
Yeah.
Because the human brain, well, our society, the way we work, logical, in general, is very lot left brain thinking society. We want data, we want numbers to crunch, right? We can't see the future, so but we want to know the future
Predict.
because we're
Yeah.
also very fearful,
Yes.
right? And we want to control what's going to happen. So where can we get this data? Okay, well, we're looking backwards, we're crunching the numbers, historical data. This is going to give us an idea and a sense of control and safety for what's going to happen, uh,
Yeah.
despite the number of times where that doesn't work.
Yes. I'm working on that now. Like, I just know I'll be safe or the best thing will happen for me. I don't need to figure it out or know, way ahead of time. I think I'll be given some form of intuitive, advice or nudge to do something before they put me in a better space, if
Mhm.
something should come. That's what I think. But I'm still
I
waiting
think so too.
to play out. Right. I'm in where you are. Oh, this is gonna cut in like a minute. But I'll just
Mhm.
make a new one, don't worry. So
Okay.
so I'm like where you were with the trial and error. So I'm kind of like in the beginning stages of trusting it. So there's still some like testing to see, is this right? Or did I, what's major for me? Did I interpret it correctly? So like you were saying, like trusting yourself, like is that the message or did I misinterpret it? Or did I like understand it wrong? So yeah. I'm still in, but I'm loving the whole like process of learning it.
Yes, it's
It's
amazing.
yes, it's very fun. And it's like I like to say it's like bringing the secret into the mundane. So it's like daily
Yes.
life, but it's also like magic too. Like it's maybe like you know trusting my intuition or my messaging or my guides or my dreams to tell me like what's coming or what's good for me or what's not good for me or it's been really cool. It's gonna cut now.
Okay. Okay, start a new one and send it to me.
Like, let me see. But it looks like it's still going. I don't know. It says less than a minute. Okay, I'm gonna cut it. Then I'm gonna